Mountaintop, known as the grenade launcher and one of the big free weapons of Year 2 and 3 which caused such stunning to be added to the game. It is a kinetic grenade launcher with the macro missile trait, which causes it to fire in a straight line. It was originally the competitive pinnacle gun introduced in Black Armory. It required that you get to Fabled rank or 2100 glory points back in the day, which would be the equivalent of getting, I'd say, Platinum, which is basically just mid-rank. You also needed the Triumph Pursuit of Honor, which originally required 750 grenade launcher kills, 200 double kills with grenade launchers, and 100 calculated trajectory medals, which is just getting 3 grenade launcher kills in a single life. And if you hadn't used grenade launchers before or weren't very good with them, it was a massive struggle, especially considering there weren't really any good grenade launchers for PvP back then. Eventually, they nerfed the requirements to complete the Triumph, introduced wave frames, and also added momentum control, where wave frames, Fighting Lion, and normal GLs would always just one-shot enemies, which allowed you to get the quest completed far easier than you would have otherwise. The new quest, however, is much easier than the old one, requiring only rapid hills with special grenade launchers or 30 guardian kills. So you can just put on Forbearance or Undercurrents and jump into Shurichi or Avarice. You can even do it on Onslaught fairly quickly due to how much it favours waveframe GLs. The Mountaintop's reputation came from being primarily a PvE weapon, as it was basically just the best special for literally everything in the game. It was in the kinetic slot and therefore could be used with Recluse. It could also be used in DPS due to Anarchy and the auto-reload meta up until Shadowkeep, and it had good ad clear due to its good damage per shot and the fact it would say GL, so therefore you can just fire it into a group of ads and kill all of them in a single shot. However, the Mountaintop also had a reputation in PvP as being the pinnacle of annoying low-skill weapons, as most people with it would just jump over you and then fire the GL at the ground and get free kills. This is also back when you got 2 special per brick, so you essentially guaranteed 2 kills per brick. Now though, things are different. Auto reload is gone, so it's no longer really a DPS weapon. There are generally better specials for damage now as well, and GL's no longer one-shot in PvP, and Mountaintop does even less damage allegedly than other GLs. This doesn't mean it's useless though. It's still very good for ad clear and killing yellow bar targets. It can also be used with Recluse and other energy primaries, which are just generally the best due to subclass synergy. It also has good perks for a DPS rotation, it's just not the best possible option, as far as I know anyway. But it can keep up enough to where you'll most likely not be sacrificing too much damage to be able to run it during a boss encounter, for example. And it gives us the ability to rocket jump, which means you can do this. So therefore I'd say it's pretty nice. Stat-wise, it's obviously top tier for a grenade launcher. It's got 100 blast radius, 75 velocity, 68 handling, and 63 reload speed. And those are the only stats that matter, and are incredibly good. So no matter what roll you get, you'll most likely have pretty high velocity, which is something you want to max out for more damage and easier to hit shots. You'll also want to use implosion rounds to reduce your blast radius. This might seem odd, as why wouldn't you just use spike grenades? Well, you actually get more damage from implosion rounds as its damage is tied to blast radius, as found out from Mossy Max on Twitter. Another fun fact from that tweet is that if Mountaintop had disorienting grenades, it'd deal 28.5% more damage, which is a bit of a difference. Now, the difference between spike and implosion is literally 7.9 versus 8.5, so it's largely unnoticeable, but it's still 0.6% extra damage, so there's no reason not to, really. You'll also want a velocity or reload mouse to work with hard launch for even less blast radius and therefore more damage. But don't worry too much if you don't get implosion rounds or hard launch, since Mountaintop and all the other brave weapons will be enhanceable in final shape, so you can just change the barrel and mag to whatever you want. Perk-wise, the Mountaintop is pretty stacked. In the third column it's got Ambitious Assassin, Impulse Amplifier, Demolitionist, Lead from Gold, Stuck Draw, Autoloading Holster, and Overflow, whilst in the fourth column it's then got Rampage, Vorpal Weapon, Adrenaline Junkie, One for All, Harmony, Recombination, and Frenzy. Personally, I use Demolitionist and Frenzy, but basically everything other than Stuck Draw, Ambitious Assassin, Impulse Amplifier, Adrenaline Junkie, One for All, Rampage, and maybe Harmony is pretty solid. But as usual, that isn't to say you won't get use out of those perks or something. The main perks, in my opinion, come down to Demolitionist, Life from Gold, Auto-Loading, Overflow, Recombination, Frenzy, and maybe Harmony. Demolitionist is a nice auto-loading perk and gives you 10% grenade energy per kill, and since Mountaintop is primarily used for killing groups of ants or yellow bars, it's a great pick in my opinion. Especially because the origin trait will make it so you can get 15% grenade energy instead of the normal 10 if you're on a light subclass. Life from Gold is nice as whenever you rep heavy ammo to give Mountaintop more ammo, which means you can fire it more often, making ammo economy much better for it. Overflow makes it so you load 2 shots whenever you pick up special or heavy, making it another nice auto-loading perk and nice for group clearing or yellow bar killing. Auto-loading then just reloads Mountaintop while you're using another weapon. It's fairly self-explanatory. Recombination will increase the damage of your next shot with Mountaintop depending how many enemies you've killed before shooting, up to 10 kills for 50% increased damage, allowing Mountaintop to just one-shot most yellow bar enemies and nearly 1/3 of a champion's health in a Grandmaster Nightfall. Which, considering its numerous other uses in a Grandmaster Nightfall, I'd say that's pretty good. You also have Frenzy, which will just give it a 15% damage buff for being in combat for 12 seconds alongside 100 reload and handling. Both are very good for Mountaintop as its reload speed is quite lackluster despite the stats staying otherwise. And Harmony will give you a 20% damage buff for 7 seconds after killing an enemy, which will make it decent considering Mountaintop is a weapon you just pull out to fire a group or big target, and then immediately switch back to your other weapons, as I've said many times already. However, I would rather just use Frenzy personally due to the reload and handling buff it gives, but it's all up to personal preference really. Whirlpool is also an alternative to Frenzy, but it doesn't give any of the extra benefits for the same damage buff, so it's kinda just dead in the water in my opinion. Overall, I believe Mountaintop is the main gun you should be farming as it's once again useful in basically everything unlike the rest of the Brave weapons which have specific use cases. Also just the utility of having a weapon which can propel you at eager edge speeds when you shoot at a wall on any character without having to give up your heavy slot is just kind of good, especially when doing encounters, such as the first encounter of Root of Nightmares, where you can just fire Mountaintop of the floor and get up to the nodes from the ground with one shot as opposed to having to use grapple grenades or jumping abnormally, which saves a decent bit of time. So make sure to get at least a decent Mountaintop before going for all the other weapons. I think that's all I've got to say, so like, comment, sub if you want more. I'll try to get a Luna's Howl video done over the weekend for Monday or Sunday since I haven't uploaded the last couple of weeks, and adios.
You should know better.
I don't know anything.